baby.
Hello, nasty. Hello there.
Hello.
I say hello.
Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends.
Hello, operator.
The beginning of everything.
Welcome back, my friends.
It's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Brink of Sanity, episode 388. We are part of, we're part of No Network. We're just rogue podcasts.
We're part of the failure network.
Just drifting out into the void. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I talked to you. I said I want to do the failure podcast where each week we bring in someone there's other podcasts out there where they're like all about entrepreneurship and like people come in and like tell their success stories, how I built this, people talk about all these great things. I want someone to come on there and go like, hey, it was me and my friend. We started with this great idea, and 15 years later, he's homeless and I'm on drugs. Like, I want just complete failure. Just like people come on the show and just tell us how nothing worked out for them. The bigger the failure you are, the better. I think people would really like that.
I like that idea. From the podcast hosts who've been doing this for 15 years without getting a big following, we bring you other failures to interview every week.
Yeah, we should ask that. Maybe, I think the name of the show would be helpful. Just call it Failure Podcast. But Brink of Sanity is almost synonymous with Failure Podcast. Mm-hmm. But maybe we should ask on Twitter. Maybe I'll start doing that. Hey, did you try to start a business or do some other venture in life and did it completely fail? Then we want to talk to you. And we want to learn all about your fail. We are a failed podcast, and we think our fans would like to hear about failure because 1% of us are winners and successful, and the 99% of us are mostly failures. So I want something that I could relate to.
Do you know what would be a good place to post that in? LinkedIn.
The failure, like what?
Just looking for people who have failed and stuff. I never know what to post in LinkedIn. I feel like that's a good post.
I guess
Have
so.
you ever gone on LinkedIn unless you were like looking for a job because you failed at your last one?
Yeah, I find people have these viral posts on there, and I'm like, isn't this about networking and not just like posting this? Like, it's almost like the stuff they should have posted on Facebook, but they're like, the Facebook audience didn't like it, so they're like, let me move over here and tell my story about my success and
LinkedIn
blah, blah, blah.
either seems like I'm looking for a job or I'm bragging about something. There doesn't seem to be anything else to do on there. So
it's humble brags. Like,
yeah.
So
I think it might be a good place to post that.
Yeah. But yeah, the failure podcast would be, I think, a good idea. Jay, speaking of failures. So Jay and I, at some point, Jay was really into crypto a couple of years back, and he put a substantial amount of money into it, right, Jay?
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
Not great. I mean, I'm up, but like I was up a hell of a lot more a couple of years ago.
And we're not talking like huge amount of money, but like it was just like in relative terms. It was anyway. He got me to invest some money in it. Not like he told me, but he was talking about it. I put some money in it, and I'm still a little bit up. But like, and again, this is small amounts of money overall. But at some point, Jay and I made a joint venture, right, Jay?
Yeah.
We put some funds we had left over from the podcast and put it into ETH with the idea. I'm like, hey, you know what would be really great? We take some of the podcast funds, put it in Ethereum and Dogecoin, and we will just sell it in a month, and we'll make some extra money for the podcast to use for
the podcast.
Anyway, how's that going, Jay?
So I said, I really think Dogecoin is a piece of shit. We should put it all into ETH. And then Mark said, no, we'll split it up. We'll hedge our bets. I have a good feeling.
In fairness, ETH is a piece of shit also. It's all a piece of shit.
ETH is about halved since we put in. Doge has gone down 6 times.
Not that I was the best math student, but I feel like neither investment was very good.
No, but I'd rather be down 100% than 600%.
So I have a question for you. Do you think this stuff is going to go away? Like crypto, well, right now, crypto, I think Bitcoin was at like $18,000, which at some point a few years ago, that would seem like a very high number. But it used to be at 60, so now it's down to 18. It's really low. But do you like see this stuff like 5 years from now being at like there's some value, but like going down drastically from here?
The thing is, I've thought this like a couple times because it's so cyclical. It shoots up and then it goes all the way down and it stays there and it seems like it's over. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, it shoots up even higher than it was before. And then it comes crashing down. So it's like right now we're in that doubting phase. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to when it goes up and how long and all that. So it's really hard to tell. I mean, right now with everything down so much, I feel like it's over, but who knows? 2 months from now, it could rally and like double in price. Like, and then
It's Beanie Babies with theoretical uses. Because people are always like, well, you could use it for this, but yeah, no one's using it as currency. But yeah, you could, I guess. So far, the only place I've seen Bitcoin have a solid use is for criminals who either want to move money or like they want to like if they hack your like computer and then they ransomware. Ransomware seems like the number one use of Bitcoin, number one practical use.
and that NFT scam.
You mean the existence of NFTs?
Well, don't you have to buy them with Bitcoin?
I think so. I don't know how you buy all this stuff. I think the entire, like I was reading something about like NFTs, like the actual uses of them. And so like do you want to hear the uses of them, the real uses of them?
NFTs?
Yeah. So they were talking about
There's real
like,
uses?
where the NFT market is going to go. I get a newsletter related to this, and they were talking about like where is this actually going to go? Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, it's not that interesting, but use case number one. This is from Milk Road, which is a popular newsletter on crypto. I find this stuff a little bit interesting. So a reward for super users. So basically, you're a band or a podcast like Brink of Sanity, and you can give your 1,000 true fans a token or a NFT, and that gives them special access. And then that could go up in value, and they could sell it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like you were a fan of say the Beastie Boys, and you joined their fan club.
Yeah.
So now it's that basically, but it's on the blockchain.
These all seem like different ways of saying the same thing.
Okay. Another one is digital collectibles. You know how you might want like people make digital art and you might want to get it. So in the past, you just had to hit right click copy and you had that art. Now you have to pay your life savings to get the art that you could have right clicked. And I guess in theory, so someone was saying, I was listening to something about it, and they were like, well, people who are buying these, one thing they were doing is using it as their profile picture on like Twitter or Instagram. Their picture was the Bored Ape or whatever they purchased. And I was like, oh, well, that's a way to show off your, like, if you came in my house and I had a piece of art, I just showed it off on the wall. Now I'm showing off my computer. And then the difference really is, I guess you can always have a copy of a painting. I can have the Mona Lisa in my house, just a reprint. And in theory, you could have your Twitter page could be your picture could be your Bored Ape, and I could just copy your Bored Ape and have it on my picture also. And you have no actual real rights to it.
But the difference is, if you had a Mona Lisa, it would be impressive. If you had an ape profile icon, nobody's impressed.
Yeah, well, some people need those that. I mean, like I don't know. In some way, people are impressed by that. I don't know because they all seem like ways that don't really make that much. Like they could just go away.
Yeah.
Another one was a membership as an asset. So you join a club, like the Brink of Sanity Social Club. You want to start a social club, Jay?
You know what? Let's start a newsletter instead.
Yeah, why not? I see so like something called the Soho House. You heard of the Soho House?
No.
It is a exclusive club that would not take riffraff like ourselves.
Oh, so like the Friars Club.
Yeah. So Soho House, it's an expensive club that rich people are a part of, and they pay to be part of it. And so the same basic idea is that you'd have that here, you pay to be a membership, a real life Ink Life club, but your membership is a token, and then you could sell that token later on.
Okay.
The only problem with that is that, like, let's say you're the Soho Club and you want to be exclusive, and the person basically is like, "Ooh, hey, Mister, I'm Duke Ellington or whatever. I'm like some special person, and like I'm like, oh, I want to sell my membership, and I sell it to Jay, and then the Soho Club's like, fuck that, we're not letting Jay in. We're forgetting. We're not gonna let you sell it anymore if you're gonna sell it to Rip Catholic Jay. Like
Yeah.
it becomes less exclusive. You could sell it to anyone, basically.
True.
And also, I guess you could do that before, I guess, but now it's on the blockchain.
Awesome.
Most of the things are all things you could do before, but now it's on the blockchain.
Right now, it's more difficult.
So the other idea was video game assets. If you're in a game and your character buys a cool jean jacket, well, now if it's on the blockchain, you could sell that jean jacket to other people, or take it to other games.
See, all of this stuff is you could sell it to other people, assuming that other people want to pay money for this shit.
I don't fucking know. And people are, I mean, in some level, people are paying for the shit. But the stuff, like, even though it's all depressed, it's all worth something.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
right,
fucking
let's move on.
know. Okay.
All right, we're nearing October. thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com is our email. Tony writes, it's getting near to my favorite time of year in October through December. I love the darker nights and the colder weather. What are a few of your favorite horror or Halloween movies? My top 5 is Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Salem's Lot, and The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a good top 5.
I don't think I've heard of Salem's Lot.
It is one of Stephen King's first books, maybe like second book, and it's a vampire, Salem, Massachusetts, and it's a vampire book.
Okay. I'm going to say my top 5, and I haven't seen all ton of these movies, but I thought Pet Sematary was the movie that scared me the most as a kid.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever sat all the way through Pet Sematary. That was that freaked out. I love It. I think that was freaky. But the TV version, not the movie version.
The new version was really good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen the new version, but I go with the TV version. I'm going to also put up there Poltergeist, which is a freaky movie.
Mhm.
I'm also going to put up there. I mean, it's not a scary movie, but I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Nightmare on
So
Elm Street's up there for me.
And I guess you got to put in part 1, right? That was the one that was like the scariest.
Part 1 was the scariest. I have nostalgia for parts 3 and 4, but I would put 1 up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's also the most original, obviously. And then I guess Michael Myers, Halloween. Or
Okay.
I never saw Psycho. But what's your list?
You're not a big horror movie fan, huh?
I'm not a huge horror movie fan. I'm trying to think of what else that was a really good horror movie.
So I would go with Nightmare on Elm Street.
By the way, I'm sure you're going to name some movie that no one in fucking God's green earth has heard of. You're like some indie project that was only released in Botswana, and you happen to get a copy of it, and you're like, I love the soundtrack. I know that band on the Botswana movie. I have all their albums. What? Okay, so Nightmare on Elm Street. Everything else is going to be weird and vague.
Exorcist scared me more than any other movie.
Okay, that's a good choice.
The Thing.
Okay.
Probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I know it's a little cornier than the first one, but I loved that movie as a kid. And Saw.
Okay. Saw was good. The original was a good concept, but
I liked all like 9 of them or whatever.
why'd they stop? Did they stop making them, or are they still doing them?
They stopped at like 7 or 8, and then they took a few years off, and then they made a movie called Jigsaw, which is really good, but it kind of bombed in the theaters. And then they made Spiral, which starred Chris Rock, and it was actually good. It was kind of like a spin-off.
Oh,
Saw.
the whole concept of it's like a fun, like having people trapped in like situations they can't get out of. Basically, it's kind of a fun or a good concept. Basically,
If you want random ones, The Cube is really good.
I'm surprised your whole list wasn't random ones. What's the cube about?
The Cube is like this group of people, like say like 8 people, wake up in this cube, and there's doors on all 6 sides of the cube.
Okay,
And they're trying to figure out how to get out. And
isn't a cube 4 sides?
No, that's a 3-dimensional cube has 6 sides.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't realize there was like. Okay, go on.
So every time they open the door, there's another cube. Some of them are safe, some of them are booby trapped, and one of them might have spikes fall down or something. And so they're trying to figure out how to get out of this maze while they're navigating these like booby trap cube rooms.
Do people die?
Oh yeah, like almost everybody dies. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how the fuck would they survive?
No, like they walk into the first person opens the door and they walk into the cube and like instantly there's a trap and the person dies and like, well, I guess that's not the way to go. And Predator. I love the Predator movies.
That's not really a horror movie, though.
What would you call it? Action movie?
Yeah, it's really more of an action movie.
Okay.
Well, then you're gonna put Squid Game up there. It's not a movie, I know, but a TV show. But like that was like pretty intense.
Yeah, but I mean, Predator was like an alien.
Squid Game was a lot better than Predator.
Okay. All right, so that's our top 5. Thank you for the email, Tony.
Jay,
Yes.
how tall are you, Jay?
Just about 6 feet. I think I'm like exactly 6 feet.
Why do you feel the need to say you're just about 6 feet? Why don't you just say 5'11", Jay?
I'm taller than 5'11", but I'm not sure if I hit the 6 feet.
Why do you have to round up, Jay? You're never gonna get to 6 feet.
Maybe I am. Depends.
Are you? Are you still growing?
Maybe.
Do you know you could get there actually? Do you know? Have you heard of the world of lengthening your legs?
No.
So a procedure was invented a number of years back, and the procedure was invented because there are some people that were really, really short, and they wanted to like help them be a little more normal height. Basically, I guess midgets or whatever. I don't know.
I'm going to stop you right there because if you lengthen your legs and you don't lengthen everything else, you're going to look pretty weird. Okay.
Obviously. So, yes, your legs will be kind of extra out. You will not look within proportion. But apparently, so there are people that there was a medical reason to do this to help people. Is midget the correct word? What's the correct word right now?
I think it's little person, but I feel like that's worse than midget.
Yeah, I've heard that before, but I can't imagine little person would be like the correct term. I mean, like,
if I was a little person, I think I'd rather be called midget.
Yeah. I mean, at least midget doesn't have the implication that you are like less than a person.
I don't know. I feel like midget's just a word. Like little person is like, oh, look at the little person.
Look at the little person. Oh, you're a regular person. You're a little person.
Right.
It's just the most insulting thing you could have come up with.
It's like, why don't they just call them vertically challenged?
Right. It's like the replacement word. The replacement word is actually more insulting than the actual word they're using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'd be like we have like I don't pick a group, but you're like here, we can't call this group anymore or whatever, so we'll call them subhumans. You're like,
right.
I'm sorry, subhuman. Yeah, subhumans. You don't get offended anymore because you're subhuman.
Don't call me obese. Just call me huge fat fuck.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. I'm a huge fat fuck, so I need an extra seatbelt. You mean you're fat? That's insulting. I said I'm a huge fat fuck. Please use the correct terminology. Anyway, so basically, this procedure is being used now as cosmetic surgery. The way a woman may like get her boobs enlarged.
Yeah.
Men, I think more so than women, are feeling that they're too short, and this procedure will add 3 to 6 inches to their height, depending on how crazy they go.
Do you have pictures?
I mean, I thank the Lord the article didn't provide pictures.
Because I feel like it would look weird.
You think?
Well, how would they even do it? Like
So how would they do it? My understanding from this article is one of the first things they have to do is they have to break your femur.
Okay, I'm done right there. So the femur, isn't that your thigh bone, which is like basically the most painful bone in your body to break?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not one of it's not like, oh, you broke my femur. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I know a little science stuff. Like I feel like the femur is like one of the last things you want to break.
So most patients, according to this article, will fork over. This is, by the way, this is in GQ magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a real publication. This is a real thing that's like apparently become popular, or it's actually apparently breaking your femur on purpose is more popular than our podcast. uh, Most patients will fork over between $70,000 to $150,000 depending on how many inches they want to gain. The majority opt for the standard 3 inches, which can be expected. We expect if you only get your femur done, a process that takes about a year, but 6 inches is possible later to do your tibius as well.
Jesus.
You then have to get nails surgically removed, which costs an additional $14,000 to $20,000. But you can finance it actually through SoFi, an online bank. This guy in the article took out a loan for his femurs for $1,200 a month for the next 5 years.
Holy shit.
I'm having trouble. I'm a little bit behind on my height, so they're gonna collect that from me. The repo man just takes your leg away.
Can you imagine spending like $100,000 to be a few inches taller?
I mean, also, you have to start a new life because anyone that knows you is such a fucking weird. They're like, hey, remember when John was my height and now he's taller? He's a fucking freak. We fire him.
Well, also, how do you do it? Like, I'm just gonna take a year off and lay in bed while my femur's broken.
I don't fucking know.
So you have to have $100,000, and you have to basically have no income for a year.
So I spoke to someone actually. Did I tell you this? I spoke to someone who was severely obese, and he was going to. His plan was to lose like I don't know, like 300 pounds, and when he lost it, then he would have skin tightening surgery. And apparently, he had done this before and then gained the weight back. But apparently, the skin tightening surgery, the recovery time is like 6 months at least, and it's unbelievably painful. So you can't work. You're basically bedridden in extreme pain for 6 months to tighten your skin.
Jesus.
I mean, I guess the alternative would be to stop fucking eating Oreos, but I obviously you're well beyond that. You have a mental issue basically at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, you guys, can I be in your intramural league? I don't know, Mark. You're not tall enough. Give me a year. They say it makes like people who are taller make more money. They get women. Height can make a big difference. It's like a big stigma for guys who are being short.
I know it is because like most dating profiles are like, will not date a guy under 6 feet. It's like, okay.
I knew a guy in college. They were twin. He had identical twin. They were both like 5'3" or 5'4". But the funny thing was, they were like really, really good looking. Like if they were a normal height, I don't know. Like it was just like they were very, very good looking, except for the fact that they were 5'4". It was like God's like, you're gonna be really good looking. What's the catch? You're not gonna be able to reach the top of the fridge.
Right.
So what do you think about the idea of getting your legs lengthened? Yeah, you're right. Also, the fact that your legs will be a little bit out of proportion with the rest of your body.
I'm also like, you just stretch the skin and the muscle. Like, none of this seems to like. It seems really bad. It seems like a really bad idea.
You fucking think, and people are doing this.
All right. Brink of Sanity 3 is our Twitter. Guess it over, or T Socrano at Twitter says, favorite scran from each of the following: Italian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, Indian restaurant, steakhouse.
What is strand?
Scran. I actually had to look that up. So I guess this is an overseas listener, and that's just slang for food.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, start the first. Let's do one by one.
Italian.
My favorite Italian food. When I was a kid, I freaking loved, like, my favorite thing to get was chicken parmesan.
Yep.
And probably not as strong now, but I guess I'd go with chicken parm, with my alternative being, I like lasagna a lot.
Yeah, probably chicken parm for me.
Okay. It's a pretty standard.
That's my test. When I go to an Italian place for the first time, I order that. If they can't get that right, then they probably can't.
They should just go out of business. Yeah, like the most basic thing. You can't get that right. Like, just don't be in business.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Would you take chicken parm over pizza?
Yeah.
Really good pizza or really good chicken parm Well, it depends on what you're in the mood for, I guess. If you're having like dinner or you're having like a
Right.
pizza's pretty good.
It is.
Okay.
It is. But
Stromboli.
Chinese restaurant.
I am not a fan of Chinese food, but I would say, I have the most boring order. I get chicken and broccoli steamed.
It is pretty boring.
Pretty fucking boring order, yeah. That's literally every time I've gone to a Chinese restaurant in the last decade at least. That's my order.
Okay.
I don't go very often to Chinese restaurants. What about you?
Probably like mushu chicken.
Okay. I don't think I even know what that tastes like.
It's like shredded cabbage, mushrooms, and chicken. They give you like a little, almost like tortilla thing to make a little, like.
I don't know what it is. So all like I know Thai food is just as bad for you as Chinese food, but the Chinese food, something about it makes me think like it's extra bad for you.
I think Chinese food is definitely greasier. I think Chinese food is worse for you.
Yeah, it's very greasy. And like I know I love Thai. I fucking love pad Thai, and I know that's not good for me, but it seems. And I'm not saying it's healthier. Just like
it's not as greasy.
Yeah.
My wife is Thai, and she doesn't use nearly as much grease. Like a lot of the Chinese food, you could like wring the food out.
Yeah, it's just a little much for me. And that's why I started like anytime I had to go there, I would get the steamed broccoli and chicken. I'd put a little bit of like sauce on there.
Mm-hmm.
But like I couldn't take basically how I felt like I'm just eating fast food basically at that point with Chinese food.
Lately, I've been getting chow ho fun, which is those flat noodles.
You could probably just like make up like you say like chow ho fun. Is this a dish or not a dish?
Right.
And I think I would get it maybe right half the time.
Egg foo young.
I know that's a dish. My dad used to get that one.
All right, those are my three. Go-tos.
Okay. Egg for young. My dad used to always get that. It looked really. It always looked kind of weird to me.
Yeah, it's like an egg with stuff in it, and you get like this gravy to put on top.
Yeah, my dad is not in shape, but he's turning 80, so he's made it this far.
My dad would order that too. Okay, Indian restaurant.
My wife is not a fan of Indian food, so we basically never. The last time I was at an Indian restaurant was over a decade ago. It was for like a wedding.
Okay.
But what's the chicken? What's the
tikka masala is the white person dish. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be me. Yeah,
Okay.
I am the white person.
I get chicken korma, which is more of it's like the masala, but it's more of like an almond sauce.
Okay.
It's really good.
I'm also generally a big fan of chickpeas, so anything to do with chickpeas, I would be down for.
Mm-hmm. I like the palak paneer, which is like the spinach one.
Okay.
And veggie samosas. I love those.
So my town is supposed to have a good Indian restaurant, and they have like a lunch buffet, and I would totally go there, but I really like if my wife's not gonna go there, I'm not gonna like, hey dude, want to go to the lunch buffet with me? It's just not gonna happen.
She won't even like eat it for just like a one-off. Like,
shoot, no. I mean, I guess I could convince her. No, I don't think she just wants it. She'd be like, why don't you get it for yourself? Go eat there and leave me the fuck alone.
All
yeah,
right.
I don't think she'd ever. Yeah.
Steakhouse.
Steakhouse. I'm gonna go with steak. What? Obviously. What kind of steak? I'm not a huge steak person. I can enjoy a steak though.
I don't like steak.
You don't like it at all?
I think because growing up, my mom was always paranoid about food poisoning, and so she overcooked everything because she was paranoid about getting us sick. So like anytime I had like steak or pork chops or any large thing of meat, she overcooked it and dried it out. So when I think of steak, I just think of this dry, chewy piece of meat that just doesn't go away when you eat it. So I don't even know if I've had like really good steak because it turned me off so much. I don't get steak when I go out. I go to Outback Steakhouse and I get like a hamburger.
So if I have steak at home, if I'm gonna make steak at home, like I like skirt steak a lot. I think it's a very tasty cut of steak.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to a restaurant, like where I'm like I feel like I don't go to steakhouses that often, and like the times I've gone, like I'll go to like a bachelor party, and everyone goes to a steakhouse, and you get like a big cut of steak, and usually that's pretty good. But I'm not big enough at the steak to really even like know. I just order what everyone else is getting, and it's usually pretty good. Good enough. I don't know. I was at a steakhouse in Montreal. I remember being like particularly really. I was like, oh, that's really fucking good steak. But I don't care enough about steak. I'm more. I'd prefer sushi over steak.
Yeah, well, obviously me too. Because I don't eat
You don't like steak.
'Cause I
You're
don't
like,
steak.
I prefer peanut butter jelly over steak.
Yeah,
That's
so
it,
that was it. That was it for the list. We can
Okay.
do other cuisines if you want.
Sure. Jay and Mark do cuisines. Thai food. I already told you mine's chicken pad thai. This bit's amazing.
Pad Kemal for me.
What was your for you?
Pad Kemal.
Okay.
That's
Can
the
I
flat noodles again. I like the flat, but it's in like it's spicy. You
can
get
I
it.
tell you how disgusting I am?
Sure.
Okay. So I so by the way, do you want to explain I will explain that later. The title of the episode, we'll explain that later. But so when I first moved to my house, I wanted to be able to work out in the basement. Or sorry, I wanted to work out in the house. I want to have like a piece of extra equipment in the basement. So first I bought a treadmill.
Mhm.
And the treadmill, the computer broke on the treadmill. So it wasn't really my fault necessarily the computer broke, but I definitely like rusted it out with my sweat. It got pretty rusty.
Were you just
Threw it away.
sweating on the computer?
I was sweating on. I run. I sweat. I got sweat on the treadmill. I didn't wipe it down enough as I should have. So it got rusty. But then the computer system, like you had a computer on there, and the computer broke, and they were like, "Well, the computer they replaced is like $300." And I was like, and it was past the warranty. Anyway, this is more example of just how much I'm spending on. That was maybe like $800 or $700 for that treadmill. So that breaks. Are you typing?
Nope.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
It looks like you're typing.
What?
You are. Just
What?
tell me you're typing.
Yep.
What were you doing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, so we bought a spin bike. My wife and I wanted to get into doing like Peloton, and actually my Peloton shirt on here right now. And we got basically a used spin bike, and it was like $500. I bought it out of like a warehouse somewhere, and I think I got a lemon.
A spin bike is just a stationary bicycle, right?
It's basically a stationary bicycle.
But they call it
difference-
spin, so they could charge you an extra $400.
Well, the wheel spins. If you think of like a stationary bike, it's a little there's a little more to it in the sense of like they have I mean, I guess on a stationary bike you can adjust the tension and make it harder, but it's made for like spin classes, so it's like a little bit like
Spinnier.
yeah, a little spinnier basically. It's a little sturdier. The idea basically is obviously you have the tension. You could stand. You could ride. You could. A lot of times they have you like do like part of your riding standing up. It's a good workout, Jay. Do you want to get into it, Jay?
Spinning? No.
Yeah.
I was thinking about actually getting a real bike.
You're gonna riding around the town.
Well, I have trails like all over near me, so
Yeah, you should do that. I like riding a bike, but anyway, so the bike eventually started having issues, and part of it was a lemon, and part like I got a lot of sweat on it,
Mhm.
and so I think it's a combination of it being a basically the guy I had someone come repair it, and the guy was like, "Yeah, there's some issues with this bike, but you've also like now like you got your sweat all of it, you rusted, like there's too many issues with this bike. You should just get a new bike."
How much are you sweating that you've destroyed now two
wait.
exercise equipments with it?
So the treadmill, I don't really think is my fault, but anyway, and I hate running on a treadmill. Anyway, but I like the bike, so I did some research and I thought about getting a Peloton. The issue with the Peloton is that if you don't have a Peloton, you can do their classes and pay like $15 a month. But if you have a Peloton, you're in their system and you have to pay like $45 a month. And I was like, well, this is fucking stupid. I pay more money if I own the bike. And they have this whole thing where they give you like all the analytics and your data. I'm like, I don't fucking want to pay more money. I don't want to pay that much money a month.
That's a lot of money.
Anyway,
Have you thought about getting
wait.
a headband for your
So-
sweat?
I was like, you know what? I was looking into it, and the Peloton itself was like $2,000, which is a lot of money. And we found another bike that was supposed to be a commercial grade bike. It's called a Kaiser M31,
Mhm.
and it's like a bike they have in a gym. And commercial grade, basically, home grade, basically means you're riding at home, you do it, but it's made for like someone to ride once a week, say. Commercial grade means it's made for people to ride multiple times a day. Like basically anything in the gym just has to be better quality, or else like it's gonna break faster. So this bike basically was like the good things, like the spin wheel is in the back, so you're not going to sweat on it because your sweat's going to fall down and it's not going to hit the. Before my sweat fell on the wheel got rusty. So the wheel's in the back, and I was like, and I also found stuff. They said like you should wipe it down every time you use it. I mean, I'm so disgusting. I wasn't wiping it down. So, but anyway, I was like, I'm going to wipe this down. I even got like this this green stuff.
Are you like leaning over while you're like?
No, I'm so fucking. Every time I do a spin class, there's a puddle under me. I sweat so much.
You're like Patrick Ewing in the '90s.
Oh my god, I'm so much worse. I got a headband. I got wristbands. So I'm like, I'm gonna have, and I have a towel. I took some extra precautions, and every time I got off the bike, I'd wipe it down. And this bike, basically, high quality bike. It cost me like $2,400. It was really expensive. Anyway, so the only thing that was happening was I'd sweat, and a little bit of sweat would get like in like where the they have the pedals is on like a crank. They call it like a crank system, and the little bit of sweat would get like would fall. The only thing that could fall on is basically it falls on the pedals and the crank, basically. And I'd wipe the bike down, and over time, just recently, apparently a whole thing of rust developed in the middle of the bike, and the bike was making these awful sounds. And so then I was like, I called the place. They're like, well, the warranty is not like you sweated on the bike, so it voids your warranty. But they're like, you can buy the part. I'm like, okay, the part's $100. Fine, I'll fucking and I had to buy a special I had to buy a special piece of equipment to remove the what they call the crank, which is like the where the pedals go on. So I'm like, fine. I get that. I start opening it. The rust is like really bad. I didn't realize how bad the rust is. But also, I can't fucking get this thing off. No matter how much hard I try, I can't get this fucking thing off. And I'm like, fuck. And my wife's like, well, I like doing this. We need to have a bike. I'm like, fuck. So then I'm like, well, I could buy a new one for like $2,000. But that's going to be ridiculous. So I started looking to use ones. So the other day, I went to some warehouse in the middle of fucking somewhere in Long Island, like 40 minutes from my house. Huge warehouse. I was going to buy a used Kaiser, the kind I have now. Every fucking used one, they had like 10 of them. They all have rust in the exact same place that I had.
Wow.
I'm like, it's a fucking defect.
At least you know it's not just you.
It's not, yeah. I'm like, all these used ones, I'm like, and I basically like, so I like, they had some other bike there. I'm like, and this bike, I paid $600. They say new is supposed to be like $3,500. But also, if it's discounted that much, I mean, I probably bought a piece of shit of a bike also. So I basically just bought this home, and I'm like, great. Do I even fucking want to like? Do I want to use this? Just let my wife use it, so I don't break another fucking bike. So at least she can use it. Because I am such a sweaty fucking mess. I now bought longer, like a bigger headband, a tighter headband, longer, bigger, like they're like 6-inch wrist guards. Plus now I said I'm going to wear a long sleeve shirt when I'm doing it to catch more of the sweat. Like I guess in a theory, a long sleeve shirt would make you sweat more, but maybe at least it'll catch the sweat. Plus I got anti-rust guard, which I'm now going to spray on the bike because I fucking sweat so much.
Maybe you should get one of those like full body, like skin tight suits, like
I looked into one of them. I was looking on Amazon where they have like what the wrestlers wear.
Yeah.
To keep all the sweat in.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can't do that. And also it was kind of expensive. I don't.
If you do, you definitely have to take a picture of that.
So basically, I am in the hole now for, I think between trying to get the things repaired. I'm in the hole for like $4,000 for this fucking bike.
Jesus. All because you just sweat too much.
All because I fucking, and I'm like, should I go see a doctor about my sweat issues? Or it's like, yeah, you probably should. I'm like, what's the doctor going to do? The doctor's going to be like, wear right guard and get the fuck out of my office.
I've never heard of that much sweat in my life.
I sweat so much. So these workout classes, like I go, basically it's kind of like a HIIT workout, a high intensity workout.
Yeah.
And you go from like moderate to intense. And it makes you sweat more, or it makes me sweat more. I guess. And, you know, my wife doesn't really sweat at all. She's like, wipe it down. I'm like, are you sweating? She's like, no. I'm like, are you going intense? She's like, I'm doing it fine. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just doing it extra intense. But when I do this workout, I usually like there's like a literal puddle underneath it.
So you're the guy that nobody wants to play in basketball because your shirt's just like soaking wet and it's just disgusting to cover you.
I was playing basketball with a friend. We were playing like other people. He drove. I went back in his car. I was like, I'm kind of sweaty. I put like I had like a little jacket. I put the jacket down, and despite the jacket being down, I soaked his seat. Basically, good thing his leather seats. But I got up and it was like I pissed on his seat. I was like, he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, I sweat a lot. I'm sorry. We played a lot of basketball. I'm never allowed in your car again, am I?
Jesus Christ.
Luckily, the person still talks to me. But I am. Jay, are you disgusting? 'Cause I'm fucking disgusting.
I mean, I'm gross, but you're definitely the guy I don't want to play in basketball. You're trying to post up, and you're just like flinging sweat all over me, and
Yeah, exactly. When I'm playing, my shirt is just soaking wet. Like I told my wife, I was like, first they invented like the shirts that like wick away the sweat.
Mhm.
They're like, yo, you're like, I defeated those. I wear them. They just become. It's as if you dunk them in water. That's how they are. With it. Like nothing gets like wicked away. The shirt just becomes unwearable because how soaking wet it gets. Now I've defeated bikes. I defeat anything with my sweat. And I guess sweat is how you cool your body off. My body must be 180 degrees inside my body. My body's just like got to get the sweat out as fast as possible.
So if you were a superhero, that would be your superpower.
Yeah, I have the worst possible superpower.
It's more like a
Hang on, guys.
supervillain power, right? You could like break into vaults by sweating on the locks and stuff.
It'd be good. Like I have to defeat the bad guy, so I run in place until I make a puddle, and the guy slips to the puddle.
Like, hold on, a few more minutes.
A few more minutes. Fast, come on, Mark. The villain's coming anytime now. I'm working as fast as I can. That is a lot of sweat, actually. You're good, Mark. Good job. Super sweater.
Wow. Now I'm waiting for you to tell me about damage to like your basement floor because the sweat like seeped through and it's staining the floor.
You know, I once this was disgusting. Also, this is how disgusting I am with sweat. It was like supposed to have been the spring or the fall, but it was like maybe like 70s out. I went for a long run, but we had to go to my it must have been my son's kindergarten class, I think it was, or maybe it's preschool. My daughter's preschool class. I forget which child it was. But we had to go. We were the class parent. We were going to go there that day, and we were going to read a story to the class. So I went for the run, and I took a shower. Totally fine, but like my body's not like done being hot.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there, and they're like, "Well, Mark, why don't you read to the class?" And I don't know why. While I'm reading, I get sweaty. By the time I'm done with this book, my shirt is soaking wet. And I'm reading to a class of like 4-year-olds.
You worked up a sweat reading.
I don't fucking know.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I thought like you take a shower and you're fine. I remember I took a test once where I went for a run beforehand, and I took a shower, but I guess I didn't give myself enough time because then I had to like book it to the test. I got the test. By the end of the test, I was soaking wet.
Were you getting like the test paper wet and stuff?
Oh, I was so disgusting. I think I was talking to some girl beforehand, and then she like looked over at me and saw I was soaking wet during this.
That's hilarious.
What's going on with you, Jay?
Not too much. We were talking before the show that I'm getting another sleep test, and I'm getting my results 2 months afterwards. So that's fun.
So Jay, I'm convinced that 70% of men 40 and over have sleep apnea.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe like this is like a thing. They're like, how do we make more money? We pretend we can solve the fact that men just can't sleep anymore.
I mean, I do think a lot more people have it than they realized. I mean, that's
Probably.
probably why the life expectancy was like 40 back in the day, because you had this and you
Everyone
just died. Like,
I went to the doctor about it, and the guy was like, before I knew I had sleep apnea, before they tested me, the guy was like, don't you want to find out if you have it? I'm like, why? What the fuck's going to change? I'm telling him, I went to their doctor. I'm like, I don't want to snore anymore. Let's test you for sleep apnea. Can you fix the fucking snoring? He's like, well, sleep apnea increases your blood pressure, and you could die at a young age. I'm like, I kind of want to die during this conversation. Can you fucking just fix the goddamn like snoring? They're like, we can solve your sleep apnea. Will that solve the snoring? Maybe. And so, Jay, you wear what do you wear? You wear a CPAP machine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How's that going, Jay?
But
Why
by
are
the
you
way-
back at this? Why are you back at the sleep place? If they gave you the cure, they gave you a CPAP machine, isn't problem solved?
I don't know. I had a day where I was getting apnea with the machine on, so I bugged out and I set up a sleep study. It hasn't happened again, but like I want to make sure that it's been like I don't know 7 years since I got my settings adjusted, so I want to make sure everything is, you know.
It just
in the
sounds
right
so
spot.
weird. You get your settings adjusted.
I know.
Could you adjust my settings so I can live?
You know that show, The Connors?
Oh yeah, the Roseanne.
Yeah, yeah. So
Is that still on?
it is, and
Oh.
Dan, the husband,
Yeah.
he has a CPAP machine, and so on the scenes where it's the morning and he's waking up, they show him in bed with the machine on, and then everybody laughs, and I'm like, but that's me.
For half a second, I was like, they're taking it seriously. They're showing a medical issue and like they're making like awareness of CPAP machines. No, it's a goof.
Yeah, it's to
You're-
mock and ridicule people who have a life-threatening sleeping disorder.
What keeps you alive, Jay, is a prop for a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Does
And I saw it in 2 episodes. It wasn't like that one episode. Like they did it in a second time, and then everyone was laughing just as hard. So I was like, great.
the only funny joke they had was making fun of how you stay alive. So what do you have to do? What's your maintenance on that thing? Like, what do you have to do to like keep it?
Well, once a week they tell you to wash out the I use the nose one.
There are different ones.
Oh yeah, there's like there's one that goes over like your mouth. There's one that's like a full mask, and then there's one that just goes like under your nose. There's
So
different
the one
options.
you use just goes under your nose.
Yeah, it's the least like ridiculous.
I mean, they all look idiotic.
Yeah.
Why do you use that one versus the full face? Well, what's the difference as far as like?
Well, I mean,
How do
just,
you choose?
just having a strap go under your nose is a lot less uncomfortable than having like this like you know when you see like Top Gun and they have that thing covering their mouth and their nose.
That's what I'm picturing. You're like a fired pilot, except you're trying to fucking sleep.
Yes, they have that. That was the original CPAP thing. And
Oh,
and it
and that
sucks.
was helpful.
Well, it's helpful, but it sucks. I mean, it's super uncomfortable.
I don't get to like you're having problems sleeping. Yes, we'll help you by making you wear something in your face so you can't sleep.
I mean, it's very. And then like if you sleep on your
Can you-
side and like
Can you sleep on your side? I was going to ask you.
I do, because my whole life I slept on my stomach, but you can't with the CPAP. So I sleep on my side, but with the full face one, like you go on your side, and if you push it just a little bit, like an air hole pops open and like shoots air into your eye, and like it's a whole like
God.
it's terrible.
You've been doing this for how long?
I don't know. I did it for like 2 years, like in my late 20s, and then like it went away.
You were doing this in the late 20s?
Yeah, and then it went away, and then like I didn't use it for like I don't know 5 years, and then it came back with a vengeance, and then I've been using it for like I don't know, probably almost 10 years now.
And you sleep every night with this thing on?
Yeah, can't sleep without it. Like
Well, that's
literally can't sleep. Can't even take a nap without it. So.
You can't. We've talked about it on the show. You can't like you were missing it for your flight or something, and you were like couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah, I have a different. There's like 2 different kinds of apnea. There's one where it's you have it because you're fat, and there's the other one where your brain doesn't send you signals to breathe. And I have that one. So like
Isn't your brain trying to tell you something, Jay?
probably.
So I was gonna say so you have to clean this thing every day or every week.
Oh yeah. So you do the tube and the mouthpiece every week, and then there's a humidifier tray, and you clean that every day.
Okay. Does it ever get like mold?
The humidifier one did. If when I first got it, I was like, I'll just fill up the tray and I'll use it until the tray's empty, which would be like 3 or 4 days. And I looked and it was like pink mold in it. I'm like, well, that's just great.
And you were breathing that in?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did I tell you what I've been trying to do now so I've not got any steps to so Bry who's also Bry we say he's engaged to be married.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Bry. I'm sure Brian will listen to the show and hear our congratulations. We don't have to congratulate him separately.
Yeah.
But so there's this new book out called Breathe, and I think I mentioned this on the previous episode. Have you heard of this book?
No, I don't think so.
It's like a bestseller, and I haven't. I just basically, I was in a bookstore and I kind of skimmed part of the book, but I didn't really read. But it mentions in the book about how they think the still caveman or older man, historic man, all their food was really tough to eat, so they had to really work when they were chewing. So they had a really developed jawline, and they think because all the food's processed now and softer, our jawline doesn't develop as much, and that leads to problems like sleep apnea. They think because your jaw is not strong enough, your tongue is not strong enough, and then as you get older, I guess somehow this leads to basically because like there's one of the treatments for your for apnea is wearing this mouth thing to kind of adjust where your jaw is. But I guess if your jaw is strong enough, I don't fucking know. But anyway, I should actually read the book to find out more details. But they mentioned in the book like the idea of there was this gum that you could chew to strengthen your jaw, and so I bought this gum. It's called like Fatim. It's like this. It's basically flavorless gum that's a little bit tougher than regular gum, and I bought 100 pieces. I'm gonna chew it for an hour a day for 100 days, and see if it helps with my sleeping. So I've been doing it for at least a few weeks now. Every day I have to find like an hour to chew this gum to make my jaw stronger, in hopes that my stronger jaw will lead to me being able to sleep better because it'll somehow help my sleep apnea. And in the book, it somehow helped the author. I guess they had ways they were doing breathing exercises and I guess chewing the gum, and it somehow helped them with their sleep apnea.
Send me the link to that because my mouth has been opening a little bit lately, which has been wreaking havoc on my apnea, and so I bought a chin strap.
Oh God!
And
oh my God!
I'd rather not make that a permanent fixture as well.
That's got to be awful to wear.
So it's not great, and also my wife goes to bed later than me, and sometimes she has the lights on, and I'm really light sensitive when I sleep. So I also got a sleep mask.
Just wear the full Bane mask.
So I have the sleep mask, the chin strap, and the apnea machine. It's really bad.
Holy shit.
Yep.
So is this really an experiment to see when you'll kill yourself?
So I can never, ever break up with her because nobody's going to put up with all this shit.
I noticed it's our first date. It's going well. I just want to let you know I wear a chin strap. Sorry, what? And an apnea machine. Okay. And a mask. Okay.
It takes me 45 minutes to get ready for bed.
How long does it take you to get ready for bed? Really?
I don't know, 20 minutes.
What's your can you tell me your nighttime routine?
I have to put the water in the apnea tray. I usually take like a holistic pill to help me sleep.
What kind of holistic pill?
It's called Cavanase. It's got like kava and a few other things in there. It actually works for me. I sleep a lot better when I take it.
I thought the fucking machine was supposed to help you sleep better.
That's to keep me asleep. The pills help me fall asleep.
Are you sure you want to take something are you taking anything to help you wake up in the morning? Because are you sure you want to ever wake up?
It's not great.
So hang on, I got it. You have to put water in your machine.
Yep.
You have to take kava or whatever the hell's and whatever's in it basically to help you fall asleep.
Yep.
What else what else do you have to do? You have to put on your chin strap.
Yeah, I brush, floss, put on my chin strap. I put in, since I've been getting dry eyes, I have this like gel that I put on my eyes, and then I put on the apnea machine, and then
Holy shit!
Then I could go to sleep.
You put on gel on your eyes?
Yeah.
What happened? Your wife is a goddamn saint.
I know.
I have a question. So sometimes I'll lay down for bed, and I'll be like, I kind of want to pee a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up and pee and go back to fucking bed.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I have to turn off the apnea machine, take off the mask, and then go pee. I say fuck it and I leave the chin strap on because why not?
It sounds like such a process to get out of bed to go to pee. Do you ever just think about just wetting yourself? Or if there's a fire in the apartment, do you ever think about just not leaving and hoping the firemen just rescue you?
I mean, I have to just like pout holded pee for like hours because I just don't want to deal with it.
Oh my God. Such a nuisance to get up,
Yep.
to do everything. So if you want to take a nap, I wish you would take a nap at work just so you have to like plug everything in, wear the chin strap. I'll send you the link to the book, which I guess I should buy the book and really read it as opposed to like skim it in the library one day, skim it in the bookstore one day and just like think I know what they're talking about. But I've been chewing this gum. I think I'm sleeping better, though. The other day I slept terribly, but I feel like I was also really stressed, and so that kept me from sleeping well.
Yeah, I mean, stress wreaks havoc on sleep too.
Then last night my wife she started taking no one sleeps fucking well. She has been some trouble sleeping, so she started doing like meditation, and she started taking CBD or CD whatever CBD gummies. But she gave me some of her gummies, and that helped a little bit.
Okay.
Well, I don't even fucking know if it helped or not, but
Who knows?
I don't know.
40s are awesome. I can't wait to 50s.
I can't. You know what? At some point, I think you wake up multiple times a night to like pee. Because every older person talks about how many times I've noticed when older people get together, the big things they talk about are. I saw my two uncles were together last night. We had like a family thing, which was the Jewish holiday, and they're like talking about how many times they have to get up at night to go pee, and how many pills you take a day. Oh, you take 8. I take 9. Woo!
Awesome. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, life's gonna get so much better from here.
Well, on that note, we're just about out of time. So
Cool.
that was a fun, upbeat, uplifting episode.
It really was. Jay, what were we supposed to do tonight? Since we would have had a tie 5 or something else prepared. What happened?
Yeah, so we had an interview lined up, and so our whole plan was to do the interview, and our interviewee did not show up. So this episode has been brought to you by Adlibbed.
But did we seek the interview out, or did they seek us out?
No, they seeked us out. Yeah.
They sought us out. Some publicist or something sought us out to have what's the guy called? What's the guy's name? Wayne Altman.
Yeah.
And what was he? What's his thing?
We might as well. Yeah. Why not plug him anyway? He is the
Something
founder.
called. Sorry, go on.
He's the founder of Melody Clouds. So it's like binaural beats, and we probably could have used them because it's supposed to help you sleep.
It's something to do. He had some issue. He started finding this thing called binaural beats. I'm not even sure what exactly that is. I was hoping he'd explain it to us on the episode.
Yeah, me too. He said it cured his tinnitus, but it could also put you in like a calm state, and it helps you sleep and stuff. So
A few episodes back, we had that guy Fred Joyle on,
Who was
who also
awesome.
who
He was great.
was great. Yeah, but this agency like wanted to help him promote his book and like found our podcast and thought we would be good to have in the show. This is They also gave us this guest who apparently is on the show today.
Cool. So
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what we've been doing. Most of our shows are ad-libbed anyway, right?
yes, but I think this one was extra ad-libbed because we were really planning on doing an interview.
Jay, are you into rising and grinding?
I feel like this is a loaded question.
It's really not. There was like a whole work culture of like, I'm going to rise and grind. I'm going to like get ahead. I'm going to like whatever. But there's a study that came out. They said 82% of workers, 18 to 29-year-olds, say the idea of doing the minimum required to keep their job is extremely appealing.
I mean, honestly, I kind of don't understand the people that devote their entire life to like a soulless company that'll lay them off if they realize they could outsource their job to India or something.
I mean, those people might be successful, but it's funny that 82% of people 18 to 29 were like, bare minimum, I'm all in for this. And I completely agree. I totally understand.
Nobody wants to work. I mean,
No one fucking wants to work.
why would you work like 12 hours when you could work 8 and then like enjoy yourself for 4?
I loved it was like a meme. Like the last 2 years, one of the big complaints from businesses is no one wants to work. No one wants to work. Your pizza place, your local pizza place is like, we can't staff up enough. No one wants to work. And so it was the meme was like Homer Simpson talking to Bart Simpson. And Bart was saying to Homer, no one wants to work anymore. And Homer just he's like, son, no one ever wanted to work.
Yeah. That's
like,
true.
That's true. That's it. Yeah.
Well, it's also like wages stayed flat and the prices of everything went up. So maybe nobody wants to work for a wage that doesn't allow them to pay their bills.
Right. Everything. If you notice, basically, it's all the shitty jobs. They can't find enough people.
Right. So I can't believe nobody wants to. And the shitty jobs, you work harder. Let's be honest. We work in offices. I went to a diner with my friend the other day, and we sat at like a bar that was overlooking like the chef area. And those guys were working so hard and so fast with no break and just nonstop. And he's a CPA too. And we turned to each other like, this is way more impressive than what we do. Right. And we were both like, yeah, these guys are like, like blew our minds how impressive they were.
Yeah. I think like there was like, I was listening to this guy talk about, he had, it was like during the pandemic when they were getting out all those big checks.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided like, he'd worked in the kitchen his whole life. And he was talking about how much he was on his feet all day and how much it sucked. And he was like, yeah, so I know I'm collecting some money from the government right now, but fuck them. They told me to come after they laid me off. They told me to come back to work. And I was like, I don't want to. That job sucked. I'll stay home now.
Yeah.
There's a show on Hulu about this. Have you heard of the show on Hulu about working in a kitchen?
No. Oh, yeah, I think so. It's like Bear or something like that.
Yeah. It's supposed to be really good. I watched the first episode. It seemed good. I haven't watched the rest of them yet. I'm going to, I guess, at some point because there's so much television out there to watch. But
It's insane, yeah.
it's supposed to. They say it's like it really shows what it's like to work in a kitchen, which I didn't know I really needed to see that. But apparently, it kind of sucks to work in a kitchen, which I guess we all knew that. Also.
You haven't had any restaurant jobs?
I mean, I've worked as a waiter briefly, but no, I guess I really not any long period of time. You?
I've had 3 restaurant jobs, but they were all either server or waiter.
I worked at a refreshment stand for a summer, and I worked at for a few weeks as a waiter somewhere. That was pretty much my restaurant experience. It's very limited.
Yeah. Hard jobs, though.
No, not easy jobs. Most jobs are. I went for a run the other day, and the garbage truck is going, and the garbage man's running from like house to house collecting the garbage, and I'm like, I'm running for fun. He's running to feed his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. His job's a lot harder than mine. And he has to smell garbage all day.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Well, we'll be back soon. We got to do at least one more episode before I go to Thailand.
Also, if have you failed at anything, let us know. We'd like to interview you about failure.
Absolutely. thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. Brink of Sanity 3 on Twitter. We're the Brink of Sanity on Patreon and Instagram. So, we'll be back soon. Thanks for listening.
My love.